Hello friends, welcome to edu.net tutorial. In this video, we will see how to perform navigation between two typed data tables. Alright, now let us build a relation between publisher and titles table from our pubs database. Then we will see how to perform data traversal. Let's go to the demo. Alright, first let's go to the Solution Explorer and add a new Windows form, and we will name this form as data relation form. We'll add it. From toolbox, we will place to label, and we will name this as publisher. And we will place one more label and we will name it as titles. Then we will place relevant control. Once again, we will take the list box control. So this will display the publisher. Once you click a publisher row, it should show all the books title published by that specific publisher. We will name this as LST publisher, and we will name our titles list box as LST titles. Alright, the form is ready and we have to make a call from our navigation. So we will create instance of our newly created dialog, right? Then we will make a call to dialog.show dialog. So this will display the dialog. Let's check that once. All right. Now we already have one data set. We can create a new data set, or we can add it to the existing data set also. But here I'll go ahead and create a new item. So here is the data set, right? We will name it as EX03 typed dataset. So that's the name we are giving here. Typed dataset relation XSD. We will click add here, and if you see, a new dataset relation is added, and we will go to Server Explorer. The connection was reset here, right? We will go with the refresh, so this will make the connection alive. Previously we used only one table, right? But for this data set, we are dragging publishers. This will supply data for our first list box. So publisher is ready. We will drag and drop the titles, and you can see the relationship will be set automatically. Right here you can see the relation. Right. So foreign key relation is established here. Now we will save this XSD. Now we have two XSD in our example. One is jobs XSD that contains only jobs, and we have one more XSD that talks about the relation. Alright, we will close these two, and we will open our relationship form. Now we will pick the publisher list box and we will bind it to the data source. So this time we have two data sources. That means two data set. One is jobs and another one here we just typed it as ex03 typed data set relation, right? So we should have given publisher titles relation. That's okay. Now we will expand this and pick publisher. So publisher binding source, display member is, so the display member we are picking as a publisher name, and value member we will pick it as publisher ID. It will be useful for the traversal. So to the user we are displaying the name of the publisher, but internally we represent value as publisher ID. The same way for titles we can set the data source as titles, display member is title, and value member we can set it as title ID. Right, so now these two fields will display the relevant data, and our XSD is already having the relation. Now we will handle the publisher selected index changed event, and inside this we will get the selected value and we will store that as publisher ID. And here also you can see in the form load titles table adapter dot fill is called. Similarly, publish table adapter dot fill is called because we did the static binding, right, for both the publisher as well as titles. So you can see the code, template code is added by the ID the moment we set the binding relation, right? So titles data table adapter is filled and the publisher table adapter also filled, and we are giving the titles table here, and here we give the publisher table, right? And the title table will populate titles list box and publisher table will populate the publisher list box. Here we can try running it once. You can see the publisher as well as titles are displayed, but there is no relation that is used here. Now we will implement the relation. So when selected index is changed on the publisher, first we get the publisher ID for the selected value. So if user selects this specific publisher name, we need to get the publisher ID. So that's what here we are doing. Selected value will give publisher ID because we set value member as publisher ID here, right? Now we have the publisher ID, right? We will locate the row here. If you see, this .ex03 typed dataset relation publisher. So we are simply picking it from here. Publisher is the data table, right? So from this publisher data table, remember the naming notation: table name, right? Data table. Publishers is the table. Similarly here, titles is the table and data type is titles data table. This is publishers data table, right? Alright, from our publisher data table, we make call to find by the key column name, publisher ID. We saw this multiple times in our previous videos in this subseries. And what we are supplying is the primary key column name, publisher ID. So this way we locate our publisher row. Once publisher row is there, we are just checking for the null. And once this test is passed, we will go with the navigation. Now we will rebind our titles with a new set of rows. So LST titles, this is the LST title, right? LST titles dot display member title. Then we located the publisher row, right? Here we are making call to get table name titles row. Right here, if you see, we are walking through the relation. We have the publisher row, and from that publisher row, we are making call to get titles row. So get all the titles row. So this will return a titles row array, and we are giving that to the data source property of the list titles. Right? Since here in the XSD, we have the relation. Right, publisher to title, there is a relation. That's why we can able to call, since we have the publisher row, we get the titles row from this given publisher row. So this will return list of all the titles, and we are rebinding the LST title data source. All right, we will rebuild this solution and run it. So if you see, there is no titles published by all these titles. Okay, here we have 6 titles, written hardly 7 titles, here 5 titles, and only the top 3 publisher have some books published, and all these publishers don't have any book titles. You can verify that here by querying the publisher as well as the titles table, but I am leaving it for you to do it as an exercise. That's all here in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.